Shalom. I'm Priest and Officer Gabarmath, ISUPK, Connecticut. We are ISUPK, set out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. Since 1969, we've been teaching the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, so-called Native Indians, or First Nationers the true culture and heritage as it pertains to the Bible, most importantly, history, secondarily, and archaeology. That we are the Israelites according to the Bible, and that our oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. All right. Please bear with me while I put some things into the chat. Salakia. Bear with me. Remember to sign in. Always sign in. Use the attendance sheet and also sign in to the chat. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And also comment, like, share, subscribe, and comment. All of it helps the algorithm spread this truth. For questions or counsel, you can go on isupk.com to find a school near you. If you're in Connecticut, on the bottom of the screen, beneath me, you'll see call for class information or counsel at 2003-548-0040. Again, that's 203-548-0040. isupk.com. Otherwise, find the school listing and the number for the school that is nearest you. Again, just bear with me. One more minute. This class is part 3. Shalom to Yapah Shayara Yahawada. Shalom to Labab and Yamyan. And we'll get started in just a moment. And remember, attend class for 90 days and get your Hebrew name. It's important that we reconnect with our culture, our heritage. You understand? It's important that we get to know our customs again. That is one of our customs, to have a name within our nation's tongue. All right. Again, I'm Priest and Officer Baramoth, ISUPK, Connecticut. We are ISUPK, start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana since 1969. We've been teaching the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians who they really are. Not who they think they are, and not who their oppressor tells them, but who they actually are, which are the Israelites. And our oppressor that is learning from us, and we are learning that the oppressor is the devil, which means deceiver, the Bible speaks of. Now we have gone over Job 9 and 24, Isaiah 58 and 1, Genesis 10 and 5, Genesis 11, 6 through 7, Zephaniah 2, 1 and 2, Romans 15 and 4, Amos 5, 1 through 27, 2 Corinthians 6 and 17, Romans 12 and 10, Matthew 10 and 5, John 4 and 22, Acts 5 and 30, and we are going to continue. Now, if you haven't been watching class, again, go back and watch the class from the beginning of the series for the breakdowns and explanations, so you can get the flow of the class. Again, it's important not to just come into class on all willy-nilly. Stay in class so you can get the gist of what's being said, and don't just come into class on a whim and pick up something midstream and think you're going to understand it. All right. We're going to start today with Deuteronomy 28 and 1. Deuteronomy 28 and 1. Yapa Shayara, if you may.
Okay.
If you will, I should say. When you have it, read.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass.
And it shall what?
And it shall come to pass.
And it shall come to pass. Again, why are we reading Deuteronomy 28 and 1? Right? Because we have to shake off the Christianity, man. We got to shake off all of the things that the Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nationers or Native Indians or indigenous peoples, they're calling all those things. Those are all bywords, right, of our people. We got to shake all that off, and we got to get to the root of why we're in the condition we're in. And also that will tell us how we're supposed to get out. Keep going.
Okay.
It shall come to pass. Go ahead.
If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power.
If what?
If thou shalt hearken.
If thou shall hearken. If you will listen. If you do listen. Keep going. Diligently.
Unto the voice of the Most High thy power.
Giving all your energy to listen. Listen to what?
The Most High thy power.
Listen to God. If you will listen to God. That's how simple it is. If you will listen to God diligently. Listen to everything. Not some things. Don't bend in. It's not saying to bend it to your will. It's saying just listen. Right? Go ahead.
To observe and do all his commandments.
Whoa, hold on. Now it's saying something else. First it said to listen. Go ahead.
To observe.
Now it's saying observe. Not only listen, but watch. Look. Observe is to look, to observe, to pay attention to. Go ahead.
And to do all his commandments.
And to do. There's three things there. Hearken, to listen, observe, to watch. To observe, to watch, to do. Three steps, right? Three things that you have to do to be blessed. Keep going.
Which I command thee this
Which I
day.
what?
Which I command thee.
Which I what?
Command thee.
And you got to understand that it's an order. Christians, it's not an option. Seventh-day Adventists, it's not an option. Episcopalians, Baptists, Methodists, all the denominations that somehow have broken away from the main church, which is a Catholic church, which is not right? Which is a fallacy in itself, because even they don't hearken, observe, and do. None of them do, not fully. You know who hearkens, observes, and does? ISUPK. I don't know anybody else who does that. Only in here do I see listening, observation, and a willing to do everything that you're told. And again, from who? From the Most High, from God. You understand? Keep going.
That the Most High thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Let's not skip that. That the Most High thy what?
Thy power.
We have to understand that the Most High is our power. He's where our strength comes from. It doesn't come from within, like Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity, Islam, I self, Lord and Master. No, no. You are a God on this earth, but you too have a God. You understand? And you serve. You got to serve your God. You can't just walk around being served. You too must serve. You too must yield yourself to something greater. Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child, you have the Most High. And you have your King Yahushai as your example, as the example of how to live your life as an Israelite in a righteous fashion. You understand? Because you know what we've forgotten as a people? We've forgotten our God, like I said before, and his expectations of us. And that's what we're going to go over more of today. The Lord and his expectations. Remembering the Lord and his expectations. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Go ahead, read.
Mm-hmm. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
Stop there. Read that all one more time.
Mm-hmm. But it shall come to pass.
It will happen.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High,
if you don't
power,
listen to God, your power,
to observe, to do all his commandments,
and to do,
and his statutes,
and you got to do the commandments and statutes,
which I command thee this day,
which I ask of you,
that all these curses,
which I ask of you,
this day,
which. Read after the
which
word.
I command thee.
Which I ask you.
Which I command thee.
Which I beg of you.
Which I command thee.
which I tell you to do with authority, which is called a commandment. Go ahead.
That all these curses
That all these curses, not some, not 50%, not a dab, not a little, not not you know what I'm saying? All of the curses, go ahead,
shall come upon thee
shall come upon thee
and overtake thee.
and overtake you. So they're gonna come up, they're gonna deal with you, and then they're gonna consume you and overwhelm you. Go ahead.
Curse shall be in the city.
And now it's gonna go into the curses, right? Now let's drop that. Let's drop that. That was Deuteronomy. Let's drop that. And let's go, Salakia. Let's go to Proverbs 9 and 10. The book of Proverbs, chapter 9 and verse 10.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 10.
Mhm.
The fear of the Most High.
What?
The fear of the Most High.
Part of us forgetting who we are and who our God is the fact that we don't fear anymore. We don't have a healthy fear of God. You understand? We are afraid to walk outside and to walk in our own neighborhoods, but we are not afraid of the God that could kill us completely, take away our life and our soul. We're not afraid of that. You understand? Read that again.
The fear of the Most High.
The fear. Let's see what it says. The fear of the Most High. Now, Christians will tell you that you shouldn't fear God. I don't fear God. God is on my side. God is my boy. Me and God, we walk hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? That's how Pastor Pork Chop will talk. You know what I'm saying? Sweaty Pastor Pork Chop with bacon collar. You know what I'm saying? Like, they love to say all manner of foolishness, man. They love to brag and to boast how on their side God is. You better hope to be on God's side, man. You have to worship the Lord. The Lord ain't gonna worship you. Read that again.
The fear of the Most High.
The what?
The fear.
Now, this is for some Christians. They don't know what's gonna come next is gonna surprise them. So for some Christians, this right here, it slips by them. You know, they're in a state of disbelief when they hear this. Go ahead.
It's the beginning of wisdom.
Read that whole thing again.
The fear of the
The
Most
what?
High. The fear.
The fear of the Most High is what?
It's the beginning of wisdom.
Is the beginning of wisdom. To fear God is the start of being wise. Let your mind digest that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let your mind digest that a little bit. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Not by God. I didn't say this. Let's come out of the Bible. Read it one more time.
The fear of the Most High is
the fear of the Most High
is the beginning of wisdom.
Is the beginning of wisdom. If you fear God, you'll get in class. If you fear God, you'll get into the ISUPK. If you fear God, you'll stop being a whore. If you fear God, you'll stop being a whoremonger. If you fear God, you'll stop eating pork. If you fear God, you'll stop eating lobster. If you fear God, you'll change your life and you'll stop smoking cigarettes. If you fear God, you will do as God says in this book here called the Bible. King James 16:11. If you fear God, you'll treat your brother with love. If you fear God, you'll stop gangbanging. If you fear God, you'll take that beating to get out of a gang, out of the fear that God will kill you. You'll take the beating and you'll risk death if you fear God. If you fear God, you'll stay with your husband, no matter how sick he makes you. You know what I'm saying? If you fear God, you'll understand that your wife, she's being brainwashed by the world and she doesn't know all the evil shit, I'm going to say it, all the evil shit that comes out of her mouth is coming from her oppressor. If you fear God, you'll get yourself together, realize you're an Israelite, come back into the truth, and take what General Yohana has preserved for so many years for us, and you'll run with it. If you actually fear God, if you're not just saying it, but if you're actually listening, observing, and doing, you will be all right. You will be what God expects you to be. You will live up to the expectations God has for you if you first fear God. I'm emphasizing that because that is an important part of it. You really have to ask yourself, and even brothers and sisters who are struggling in this truth, who are struggling to stay in because of, and there'll be many reasons, man. You have to understand that when you come into the truth, that Satan is all over you, man. He's crawling up your back. He's in and out of your ears. You know what I'm saying? He's blurring your eyesight. He's got every manner of evil surrounding you, trying to devour you because you're worth it. You've become important when you come into the truth. You were nobody but back before you came into the truth, man. But when you come in, oh man, you're like candy. They're like, oh Lord, look at this one here. He thinks or she thinks that they can elude me. And that's when you become really important, man. When you're doing the Lord's work, when you're living for the Lord, when you're fearing God, that's when Satan will take a hold of you and try to pull you away, man. Try to get you to do everything contrary to what you should be doing if you fear God. Remember that. Keep reading.
And the knowledge of the holy.
And what?
And the knowledge of the holy.
And the knowledge of the holy.
Is understanding.
Is understanding. You have to understand that fearing the Lord is important. Some of us do, some of us don't. Some of us don't have an understanding. Now, let me tell you something. All of us can understand, but is the Lord working with you? You know what I'm saying? Have you humbled yourself and just kept pushing? You have to endure to this truth, man. You have to endure to be in the truth. That's how you get strong. When you were in the world, you were weak. You didn't know God. You didn't know what he expected. You didn't even care. But once you learn what he expects, man, it's holding you to a higher standard. You understand? Drop that and give me Psalms 111.
Okay.
The book of Psalms, chapter 111, verse 10.
The book of Psalms, chapter 111, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
The fear of the Most High.
Wait a minute. Are we hearing this again? This is
Okay.
a different scripture than what we read before, and we're hearing the same thing. Go ahead.
It's the beginning of wisdom.
We're hearing the same thing again. Read it one more time.
The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
Listen, until you actually sit down, listen, observe, hearken, observe, and do. When you start to do, right? When you start to partake in doing this work, doing the commandments, when you start to do that, that's when you'll gain understanding. Many people don't understand that until they start to do it. You understand? And even when you understand that, until you start to do all the commandments on a regular basis and you're working towards becoming better at doing them, each time you do something, you're like, oh shoot, you have these deep epiphanies, these deep understandings that come upon you, man. And you start to understand why it is the Lord gave you these things. Why it is that when you do these things, people look at you so differently. You start to understand that it does make you different because everybody else is doing whatever they want to do, but you're doing what you should be doing. Keep going.
His praise endureth forever.
His praise endureth forever. Let's drop that and get Salakia. Let's drop that and get Genesis 44:10. Genesis chapter 44 and verse 10.
The book of Genesis, chapter 44, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless.
Let's read that again.
And he said,
now
also let it be according unto your words.
Now let it also be according to your words.
He with whom it is found shall be my servant.
He with whom it is found shall be my servant. Go ahead.
And ye shall be blameless.
And ye shall be blameless. Is there more?
If I go down to verse 11,
read 11, let me hear it.
Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground.
Read 9.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen.
Okay, keep going.
And he said, now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless.
Mm-hmm.
Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground,
mm-hmm.
and opened every man his sack.
Mm-hmm.
And he searched,
mm-hmm.
and began at the eldest,
mm-hmm.
and left at the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack.
Keep going.
Then they rent their clothes,
mm-hmm.
and laded every man his ass,
mm-hmm.
and returned to the city.
I don't want that. Salakia for that. Give me Exodus 19 and 5.
Okay.
I miswrote that one. Salakia. Salakia, I miswrote that one. That was out of context. The verse was in context, but not the context I'm looking for here. Exodus 19 and 5. Salakia.
The book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed.
Now therefore, if what?
If ye will obey.
If ye will obey.
My voice indeed.
Do you know, Salakia, do you know how many people hate that word? You know how many women can't stand the word obey? They hate the word obey when it comes to their husband. You tell a woman to obey her husband, her head will start to spin around, her eyes will roll up in the back of her head and she'll start spitting out green. You know what I'm saying? They hate, despise the word obey. They'll rather the word listen. I'll listen to them, but I'm not gonna be obeying nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll start to rock their head back and forth when you say obey. Read that again.
Claro, okay. Now therefore, if ye
Now
will,
therefore, if
if ye will obey my voice indeed,
ye will obey my voice indeed. All obey means is to follow directions. All it means is to listen, to hearken. That's all it means. It doesn't mean anything else. But we're so caught up on the stigma of some words and some things, some thought processes having to do with words, right? That we'll take such a simple word, which actually will help you if you, because it's one word to mean others or many, right? You go into a thesaurus and you look up all the different meanings of hearken or listen, and you'll find obey in there somewhere, right? Go ahead. Read it one more
and
time.
cannot okay. Now therefore, if
Mhm.
ye will obey my voice indeed,
Now let's find out what will happen if you obey. Go ahead.
and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all
If
people.
you obey, you become a treasure to God. If you obey. If you obey God, you become a peculiar treasure. You understand? A peculiar treasure to God. If you can live up to the expectations of following those commandments, if you can live up to the expectations of following those statutes, if you can live up to the expectations of following the covenant that was made with your forefathers, if you can just maintain the agreement, you become a peculiar treasure to the only one true God, the only God that exists, that is not false, the one true God. You'll be a treasure to him. Keep going.
For all the earth is mine.
Because all the earth belongs to him. And I wouldn't want to be anything other than in God's favor. You understand? Read one more time and then we'll move on.
Cannot okay. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine.
For all the earth is mine. Go ahead.
And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests. Go ahead.
And an holy nation.
And an holy nation, a separate nation. The word holy means separate. It means to withdraw or to separate oneself from something. And in this context, we're talking about society. We're talking about from our oppressors. We're talking about from the world as we know it, as we are in sin. To separate yourself from the world means you come into Lord's favor, to the Lord's favor by stopping by Salaki, I'm saying it wrong. By stopping the sin. You stop behaving in a sinful manner. You stop doing sinful things. You start to be righteous, basically. Let's speak in the positive. You begin righteousness, which means what? You no longer transgress the law. And what does that mean? You stop breaking the rules that the Lord gave you. You start to keep your word. You start to be a truth sayer. You understand? You stop being afraid of what is going to be said about you by other people, and you start doing what God wants regardless of what they say. For fear, and again, for the wisdom that comes with that fear of your God. Keep going.
These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Mhm. And those are the words which you're going to say, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, to your people, the Israelites. You understand? These are the words. You're going to let them know that they're kings and that a nation needs to rise up. Keep going.
And Moses came.
Oh, Salakia, no.
Okay.
And that was up to 6, correct?
Okay.
All right, let's go to Leviticus 11 and 44.
So
Leviticus 11 and 44.
Okay.
The water.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 44.
Mm-hmm.
For I am the
Reading cadence, all right?
Okay. For I am the Most High, your power.
For I am the Most High. Again, letting you know who He is compared to you. Letting you know that He is above you. I am the Most High, your power. What is power? Strength. Go ahead.
Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves.
Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves. Go ahead.
And ye shall be holy.
And ye shall be holy. Let's look up the word sanctify. Baba Kasha. Sanctify. What does that mean? Ye shall sanctify yourself. Ye shall sanctify yourself. Sanctify. We're looking up the definition of sanctify.
The definition of sanctify.
Mm-hmm.
Set apart as or declare holy, consecrate.
Set apart or declare holy.
Sako, I don't want to set apart as or declare holy.
Set apart as, Salakia. Or declare holy.
Consecrate.
A one-word definition is consecrate. That's what that means, to set apart as or declare something holy is to consecrate it. Always good to expand your vocabulary. Always great to expand your mind. You know what I'm saying? We come in this thing very simple-minded, many of us, and we can develop our vocabulary. We learn our language again. We learn our dress code. We learn that spikes and studs is manly and it's all right to do it. We learn that having a beard is all right. Why? Because God wants it, and I fear God. I'm going to have a beard. Regardless of what my job says, what my woman says, she wants that baby face because she wants to be in a lesbian relationship with you. Okay, I guess that's what she wants. All right, grow your beard out, man. Learn to be a man again. Learn to be women again, man. We have so many women in masculine frame of minds. So many women are walking around here destroyed, thinking that they can do everything by themselves and they can figure it all out. And you have some women that are good at manly things. You know what I'm saying? You have some women that are horrible at feminine things. Well, where is your desire to learn in the lane you were made to be in? Where's your desire to fulfill the destiny in which God has made for you in your gender? We've become confused in this society because we have not consecrated ourselves. We have not declared ourselves holy. We have not set ourselves apart as Israelites. We haven't done that. We want to be Americans. We want to be Guatemalans. We want to be Panamanians. We want to be Brazilians. We want to be Jamaicans. We want to be Bajans. We want to be American. We want to be Native Indians. We want to be indigenous. We want to be everything but ourselves. The best thing you can be is an Israelite. It is the most righteous, ethical, moral thing that you can be. It tells you what your nationality is and your code of ethics. No other code of ethics is greater than ours. And isn't it ethical and moral and practical that you don't confuse yourself and try to be something that you are not? Again, the Lord expects you to be, if you are born a man, a man. And expects that when he makes you a woman, that you will be a woman, regardless of how you feel inside, regardless of your feelings or your wicked thoughts about how you should mutilate your body or take pills and chemicals to change yourself. The Lord said endure till the end. You got to endure through that too. If you feeling like you're not yourself, then you got too much time in your hands, man. You got too much time in your hands. Serve the Lord, fear the Lord, and don't think about those things so much, man. When you, I mean, listen, I'm going to say this because it's important and it's pertinent. If the Lord has expectations, right, and the Lord made you think about what you're doing if you're not just being what the Lord made you. Think about all the different thoughts that are going through your head, all the different reasons you give to yourself to go against God. Think about that. That's not what God wants for you. You know what I'm saying? That's not how the Lord made you. That's not what the Lord wants for you. The Lord wants you to be exactly the way he made you. He wants you to live just that way. You understand? He wants you to be happy, healthy, and whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of trying to change yourself, why don't you try to find God? So many of us don't understand that. We lose the connection with the Lord when we do such evil things, man. And we teach other men to do so, you will be least in the kingdom of heaven. That's what the Bible says. You're going to be least in the kingdom of heaven, man. And heaven cometh quickly. Heaven's coming quickly. The more of us you see speaking the truth, the closer heaven is to coming, man. You understand? If you're watching this and hearing this, heaven is at hand. Read on. We're at Leviticus 44. You remember? All right, go ahead.
For I am the Most High, your power.
Read it one more time.
For I am the Most High, your power.
For I am the Most High, your power. Go ahead.
Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves.
Ye shall therefore, I am the Most High, your power. Therefore, ye shall sanctify yourself. Go ahead.
And ye shall be holy.
And you will be separate. You shall be separate. Go ahead.
For I am holy.
Because God is separate. You should be separate because you serve God and God is separate. Go ahead.
Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
If we do all that the other nations do, who do creep upon the face of the earth, man, they are those beasts of the field. They go a crouching. You know what I'm saying? They creep upon the earth, man. That's what the other nations do. The other nations want you to sin. They want you to be far from your God because it gives them power. Listen, think about this. I, the Most High, your power, right? But when we sin, that gives them power. Our power comes from God. Their power comes from us not doing what we're supposed to be doing. Keep going.
Claro que. For I am the Most High that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt.
I'm the Most High that brings you up out of bondage. We're in bondage in America, all over this planet, in the UK, in the European Union. You know what I'm saying? And all over the world, we're in bondage. If you're living in the Caribbean islands and you get in the sun every day and you can eat fish every day, you're in bondage too. You know why? Because American ideologies have flooded your islands. You understand? Europeans are on your beaches walking around naked, even though it's illegal, and no one is arresting them because the debauchery is on its way. You have hedonistic activities happening at night. You have your children being snatched up and missing all over the planet. Little black boys and little black girls. I know I sound like Martin Luther King right now, but what I'm going to say next is not what he said. You know what I'm saying? Are being snatched up, not found at all. I was watching something on Facebook, and it was an episode of some eating show. Excuse me, some cooking show. And on this cooking show, the chef said it was a mystery sausage. In that sausage, I have included one of these three ingredients. And I forgot what the other two ingredients were. Does anybody remember? One was shark. One was shark. But one of the ingredients was human flesh. The girl ate it. She's like, no, you wouldn't put human flesh in what I just ate, would you? No, you wouldn't do that. The host was taken off guard. He was like, he looked at the producers like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, that's not in the script. They fed these people human flesh and said that it was a readily found protein in abundance. Huh? Listen, the oppressor will do anything his heart desires in his evil kingdom, man. To the point where we have missing people all over this earth. And now there's an abundance of human flesh to be sold at market price in restaurants. How do you even have a market price for human flesh if it's something that's new to the market? You know why? Because your oppressor has been eating you and your children forever. Forever and a day. When we were in Israel, when we were in Egypt, I'll tell you what, when we were in Israel, our people went astray and started worshiping the other gods of the other nations, and we were devouring our actual children because they like to eat their children. And we were participating in those customs. And again, until you start to follow the commandments, you don't understand these things. Like I said before, you understand them more when the Lord says, "Envy not the oppressor, learn none of his ways." It's because the oppressor will eat his children. The oppressor will take feces, put it in the oven with some onions and some peppers, and call it a loaf and serve it and look to see how you receive it. See if you like it, and then tell you what it is. Like they did to that girl. One woman walked off the set disgusted and didn't want to participate anymore. And do you know what was said? We cleared it with legal, it's okay. So it's okay because you can't get sued for it. Well, how about if it's your personal belief that you shouldn't be a cannibal? How about that? How about if it's your personal decision to not eat your own species? Envy not the oppressor, learn none of his ways, man. That's a commandment. That's an expectation. I tell you what, I'll keep following the Lord. I'll keep fearing the Lord, following the Lord, and living up to his expectations. I don't know about you, but hopefully you will too. If you're an Israelite, excuse me. If not, then you can do whichever you want, right? If not, then you can do whatever you want. But if you're an Israelite, hearken, observe, and do the commandments, brothers and sisters. Let's drop that. Let's get Jeremiah 29 and 11. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29 and verse 11.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
For I know the thoughts that I think toward you.
For I know the thoughts that I think towards you. Go ahead.
Saith the Most High.
The Most High knows what he thinks of you. Go ahead.
Thoughts of peace.
Thoughts of peace.
And not of evil.
And not of evil. The Lord loves you. Go ahead.
To give you an expected end.
To give you what?
An expected end.
There's that word. There's a root. Expect. To give you an expected end, which is rulership. Go ahead.
Then shall ye call upon me.
Then shall ye call upon me. Go ahead.
And ye shall go and pray unto me.
And ye shall go and pray unto me. Go ahead.
And I will hearken unto you.
And then the Lord will listen to you. When you listen to the Lord, first and foremost, you listen to the Lord. Then the Lord will listen to you. And then you'll have blessings. Go ahead.
And ye shall seek me.
And ye shall seek me. Go ahead.
And find me.
And find me.
When ye shall search for me with all your heart.
When you actually search for God with everything in you, that's when you'll find them. Not when you're being halfway, half-ass, sometimesy. When you're actually consistent in what you're doing, consistently coming to class, consistently following the commandments, consistently putting away evil from around you, consistently doing the Lord's work, consistently is when you're actually seeking and you shall find. Go ahead.
Okay. When ye shall search me with all your heart,
Mm-hmm.
and I will be found of you.
And I will be found of you.
Saith the Most High.
Saith God.
And I will turn away your captivity.
And what?
And I will turn away your captivity.
And I will turn away your captivity. Why? Because you're captive right now because it's the Lord's will, man. You're not captive for any other reason other than you're disobedient and your father is whooping that tail. But when you seek the Father, listen to the Father again, show the Father you're serious in what you're doing, He'll do what to your captivity?
I will turn away
The Lord said He's going to turn away what?
your captivity.
Yeah, He's going to turn it away. That's 14.
Okay.
Give me Luke 12 and 40. The book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 40. Mm-hmm.
The book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 40. Be ye therefore ready also, for the Son of Man cometh at an hour when ye think not.
Christ is going to come when you least expect Him. Read that one more time.
Be ye therefore ready also.
Be ye therefore ready. If you're not in class, if you're not studying, then how can you possibly be ready? If you're walking around calling yourself black, brown, Negro, African American, indigenous, Moor, if you're out there doing all manner of evil to yourself, if you're being selfish, if you're not honoring your mother and father, if you're being evil toward your brother, to your sister, you know what I'm saying? If you're not fearing God, how can you possibly be ready? Read it one more time.
Be ye therefore ready also.
That's a commandment too, man. Be ye therefore what?
Ready.
Ready
Also.
also. Be ready too. Go ahead.
For the Son of Man cometh at an hour when ye think not.
For the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Christ cometh what?
Cometh at an hour when ye think not.
Cometh at an unknown hour or time. Cometh at a time that is unknown. Go ahead.
Then Peter said unto him, Most High, speakest thou this parable unto us, or even to all?
Salakia. No, I don't want that. Just 12 and 40.
Okay.
Salakia, the water. Give me Galatians 1 and 10. The book of Galatians, chapter 1 and verse 10.
The book of Galatians, chapter 1, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
For do I now persuade men or the Most High?
For do I now persuade men or the Most High? Go ahead.
Or do I seek to please men?
Or do I seek to please men?
For if I yet please men,
I what?
For if I yet pleased men.
For if I yet pleased men.
I should not be the servant of Christ.
If I please men, then I'm not serving Christ. And Christ serves God, man. Drop that. Give me Galatians 5 and 16.
Okay.
Please God. Live up to His expectations. Don't serve the Sadducees and Pharisees. Don't serve your mother and father. Christ said, who is my mother? Who is my father? You know what I'm saying? Serve God. Don't serve your job. Don't serve anything other than God. You understand? The Lord will look out for you, man. When He sees you doing 100% of what you're supposed to be doing according to His will. Go ahead.
The book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 16. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
If you walk in the Spirit, which is walk in the same Spirit that God and Christ have, which is the spirit of warfare, if you war against your lusts, war against all the things, the fiery darts that come at you in this world, war against your job keeping you working Saturdays, War against yourself not wanting to go to camp. War against yourself not wanting to come to class. War against all of your fears of everything in the world, when the only thing you're supposed to be fearing is God. War against that too. You know what I'm saying? War against being lazy, black man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I am a black man. Now, some people will say, well, brother, you talking about stereotypes. No, I'm talking about something that's real. Okay? We're taught that we're nothing in this society. We're taught that we're lazy, and it's become a stereotype. It has become a stereotype. But you know what's unfortunate? We've lived up to it, many of us. War against procrastination. War against hate of your brother and everybody who looks like you. Talking bad about brothers and sisters, man. They have expectations that they can live up to that are far higher than they realize too. But how about you show them and be the ambassador of Christ and show them the strength that a black man and woman can have, even while in captivity for so long. You know what I'm saying? This is what we have to do as a people, man. This is how you come out of slavery. This is how you serve your God when you become a man of war. And you get your family back in order, man. And you help your woman realize she's a woman. And women do and say certain things and don't do and say others. You understand? Why? Because it's not my expectation, because it's the Lord's expectation. So that we can get the promises that are due when the Lord comes to collect. And he will collect. Let's drop that and give me Mark 13 and 13.
The book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 13.
Mhm.
And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
And you know what? You know what might happen if you do just what you're supposed to? Men might hate you. Men might hate you, and you got to fight against that too. Your family might hate you. Your father might hate you. Your mother might hate you. Your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, people you grew up with that you thought that you thought loved you. The world might hate you, but you'll gain your God. You'll gain your identity, and you'll gain the kingdom of heaven. You understand? That's my time. I am Priest and Officer Gabar Math, ISUPK, Connecticut. We are ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. Since 1969, we've been teaching the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, their true culture and heritage, that we are the Israelites the Bible speaks of, and that the oppressor is the devil, which means deceiver, the Bible speaks of. Until next class, Shalom, Israel.